But let's talk about what's happening within the retail space and whether or not there is the festive boost which is taking place or not. Who better than Darshan Mehta, the president and CEO at Reliance Brands, to talk about exactly this. Darshan, hi, good morning. Good to have you on the show. Tell us how festive demand is panning out. At least in Mumbai, malls are all open. People are thronging. Footfalls are higher, but I don't know if it's converting to sales or not.
Good morning to you. Actually, the conversions are better than the footfalls. So footfalls, since you specifically mentioned Mumbai, they were the last to kind of unlock the malls. So the footfalls are still much lower than what they were at the same time last year, but the conversions are really good. So mostly there's customers coming in, buying deeper, bigger baskets. In fact, our average unit value, which is a big parameter of whether people are trading up or trading down, is showing a very surprising positive move. So a combination of bigger baskets, buying better things, results into what we call a bigger transaction value. So very good news there, actually, much better than what I expected.
That's really good. But are you not seeing any differential when it comes to purchasing patterns? Are people not downsizing or going for lower ticket size items as opposed to what they would have done same time last year?
Actually not, as I mentioned earlier. Our portfolio extends from what we call first-line luxury to affordable luxury, all the down to mainstream. All within what we call the discretionary spend. That's a piece kind of that I lead. In fact, the highest growth is in the luxury segment and the affordable luxury segment. So category-wise, contrary to intuitive belief, these are the categories that are showing more traction. In fact, in both of these categories, on what we call like-for-like comparison, that's a big index or KPI that retail industry follows all over the world. So on a like-for-like basis, we are actually approaching very, very close to last year's levels on a cumulative basis. If I just look at the last 4 weeks, we are 3-4% even positive in the 3-4 weeks of last year. Given the fact that Diwali was earlier last year and Diwali is later, to that extent, the 2-3% would even be better because of the, you're not comparing the same calendar periods. And I guess our own sense is that a lot of what we call trap buying, people are still not traveling abroad. The customers who buy our kind of products are people who are frequently traveling abroad on work or leisure. That's not happening. Other avenues of discretionary spend are shrinking. And to that extent, we believe that far more gifting, far more amount of buying objects of desire for either self-consumption, family, celebrating anniversaries, birthdays, all of those moments of joy, that's happening. We are also seeing very good traction for bridal occasion buying. And there again, logic is that people work backwards from a certain set budget that they have had in mind for their son or daughter's marriage. They're working backwards and spending more on gifting as a category as the savings in food, because the number of invitees, I guess, much smaller with the restrictions in place. So whether it's food or decoration, flowers, etc., coming back into shopping. So there are many theories, but the reality is we are seeing a very, very strong rebound, and especially places like Delhi, which opened 2 months, the malls opened 2 months even before Mumbai or Pune. We are far, far better than last year. So, and I'll just end this piece by saying, I think the fact that we are seeing clear signs of a very early winter. Winter is the season, and the climate is a big help to buying clothes. Winter wear is generally, higher value purchase and more purchase that happens. And we've seen the weather patterns in Delhi and in the north. So all that's helping.
That's a very, very interesting observation. But Darshan, tell me, how is the purchase pattern happening? I mean, is it more that you have to push products via discounting or online advertising, or is it happening organically?
Yeah, it's a good question. So typically what we call end of season sale this year, every year happens in the month of January and July. Given the fact that most of April and May we were all locked down, and June it was just beginning to get unlocked in a very so to say, tepid way. We pushed out our end of season sale by 5 weeks. So we went only on 10th of August until 31st August, first time we did that. Shorter period of sale. So long story short, people who are actually coming to the malls are not discount seekers. As I mentioned early on, the footfalls at the malls is still far lower than what it was last year. But the people who are coming are then not looking to buy cheap. They are looking to buy. They are trading up and they are buying more. And that's coming across in many different ways. The other channel that we have pioneered and which is really showing a lot of traction is what we call distance selling. So selling on, let's say, Zoom chats or selling on video chats. So all our loyal customers and our super loyal customers, even some of what we call churn customers, we reach out to them, send them e-catalogs of products on WhatsApp or otherwise, mostly WhatsApp, and then follow through by giving them a virtual tour of the store. Sometimes they have their favorite salesperson who spends time one at a time, so it's one-on-one attention. And then it's followed through by delivery at their doorstep on very often approval basis. So they are free to send back what they don't like. So that's the other channel. And of course, as everyone would have mentioned, and we all know, that even in the high-end discretionary spend in fashion and lifestyle, e-commerce, so what we call digital commerce, which is fulfilled through our store inventories, has shown upwards of a 3x, in some cases 4x up more. And that continues to show. So as the footfalls are coming back, our thought was that maybe that will start tapering down. That isn't happening as yet. So I guess it's a combination of two new channels, one distance selling, brand new channel, e-commerce channel doing very well, and the conversion in the footfalls, which is happening. The last piece, cinemas just opened last 4 to 6 weeks ago, and that used to bring in, of course, footfalls to the malls. Cinemas have opened, but very low occupancy, I guess, because they don't have appropriate softwares to play. There are no real blockbuster movies happening. But once that kicks in, as we hear, I think it's only going to add to this process. So going back to the question you asked, even the January, typically end of season sale, which tends to happen start on end December, we clearly will push out to third or fourth week of January. Shows a lot of sign of strength. So there's more money on the table.
Okay. And Darshan, hi there. Good morning. Avan joining in. You're talking about such a different world on how, virtually things have really taken over. And I just wanted to understand the different purchasing patterns this festive season vis-a-vis what we've seen in the previous years. So there's clearly more traction online is what you said. Have the innovations then, can you walk us through some of the innovations as well that have been done by Reliance Brands? What has been done to really acquire more customers at a very different time like this, and has that really paid off?
Yeah, so of course our CRM piece and bigger and deeper data points, understanding the customer, typically what you call a 360-degree view of the customer, so many of those machine learning tools we have put to very good use. As I mentioned, just a bit earlier. We have done close to 100,000 actual sales, so 100,000 customers. It's a reasonably sized number on acquiring them through distance selling, for argument's sake. And a lot of that has happened through far better understanding of customer data points. In fact, we now have put in place, because we have a portfolio of more than 50 brands across men, women, children, fashion, footwear, essentials, toys, homeware, all of that put together. We've actually got into what we call predictive analysis. So saying this is a customer who this week is now ready to buy a fresh footwear, or this is a customer who there's a very good chance that should be looking at a new jacket or a new sweatshirt or so on and so forth, etc. So throwing up predictive buying and hence creating a very narrow zone of customers where we can have very high conversions because they have come not on a random basis. We are not random shooting SMSs or emails. No one wants that across our very large and powerful database. But we are doing, putting a lot of these tools into place. Then, of course, you mentioned online. It's not just about the online purchase. It's a follow-through. So 48-hour deliveries on the outside, 24-hour deliveries in the big cities have become the norms. In the case of returns, that is a channel where nearly 1 out of 4 items or 1 out of 4 transactions results in a return. How quickly you process the refund, how quickly you pick up that parcel back. Do you manage to refund the account within 4 hours of the parcel being picked back? So the tax, what we call the turnaround times on supply chains and the follow-throughs are very, very important. Very often these returns comes through, so out of the 25% returns, nearly 20% are for size exchanges. So if it's especially a footwear, very often we send a size up and a size down so that the transaction can be fulfilled at the same point of time. So
Trevor.
lots of innovations happening there. Sorry, you're saying something.
I just want to understand a holistic view from you, Darshan, as to how India is differing from some of the global giants. Do you think the pain is more severe back home?
No, actually the other way around. I think the pain is very, very serious in Europe because these economies depended to a large extent on tourist purchases. Starting from the Middle East, but if you look at North Europe, South Europe, and international tourism, even local regional tourism within Europe, the tourism is all come down to virtually zero. So, and the big buyers who are coming from Asia, the Chinese, the Indians, the Koreans, all of that, now they are shopping back home. Okay, so the number of Indians who would possibly go to London at this point of time or go to the US, the children, most of them have taken gap semesters, so they're back here. Parents used to go either to drop the children, the new semester beginning in early September. All that's not happened. So I think China, of course, is a holy grail. The numbers there are just unbelievable. So no comparison there. But independently, I think India, as we see, and many of our partners, we have, as you know, more than 50 international partnerships. So we compare numbers as to block by block or region by region how they are doing. And India is in the top 3 or 4 economies in terms of recoveries. And the others are all Asian, led by Greater China region, but others are Asian economies. Even within Asia, for instance, Singapore is suffering a lot. Again, any market that's tourism driven and not domestic purchasing power is suffering. We used to export our shopping to Western world rather than import shopping by, no one came to India to shop. They went to see the Taj Mahal or came for business. So that export of shopping is now lying within India. So that's a big change.
Darshan, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for giving us a holistic view as to what the outlook is for the retail segment, for luxury demand, as well as what you're expecting for the festive season. That's Darshan Mehta, President and CEO at Reliance Brands.